Welcome back, everyone, to IndiE3. We are going to get started on the first trailer showcase, the first indie showcase that we've had today. We've had so much fun doing so many other things that now I'm so excited to get back to showing you guys some new exciting games coming out of the indie scene. Every day for the last 4 days we've been doing this, and it's actually proved to be a pretty powerful way of showing off new games, and extremely in the spirit of E3. That's something that I think is really, really valuable, that we can show exciting new trailers, but also websites and things that are not necessarily the game itself, although that has come up at times too, when because sometimes nothing else just suffices or is necessary because the game already exists in its forms. But the trailers, the websites, screenshots. We've had a GIF as being the only representation of a game, and that's actually been very informative and cool. But yeah, let's jump back into day 4 of our trailer showcase. And we're actually going to start off, if you would hit the thing. We don't have a trailer for this one, but this is, oh gosh, I've already forgotten the name. It's Mystery Box. I was going to say Candy Box, but that's a different game. Mystery Box is these are some design documents, some design sketches by the developers of Mystery Box, and this is at the Mystery Box dev blog, where they have a blog detailing all sorts of different things. But if you've never seen these kinds of sketches before, or things like this is what game design documents pretty much look like. This seems to be a sort of user interface mock-up of a game that involves, we have dialogue boxes, we have menus at the top, and then a sort of schema of some sort of what the user interface will look like on the top half. And I like this 4x3. We have framing what is that? An aspect ratio that is being conformed to. But this is what people do to make games. This is where the magic happens, and it starts at pen and paper, and just writing out little words and making boxes on paper. But this is just a quick mock-up of the UI. To talk about what Mystery Box is, it is an upcoming game from the Jazz Palace Entertainment team. And they are doing a point-and-click adventure, and it's a dating sim. So Mystery Box asks the question, what is gender? Is it important? And if so, why? Mystery Box is not going to answer these questions, but we hope it will have you asking and answering them yourself. So it's going to be a very contemplative game about dating people. But while it is also has clearly said that it's going to be focusing on not just the interaction involved in that are similar to dating sims, but also contain structures and constructs of small puzzle and other systems. There's a DDR-like rhythm minigame. And these are the minigames that we throw in not just to spice up a thing, but also to show that we can express similar themes within other systems. Sometimes a DDR-like mechanic is just kind of the thing that's necessary to evoke that idea of fast-paced reaction that occurs in life. The other thing that they have to show is that they have just announced that they have Tuberts McGee, who is a music artist, who has a Bandcamp with a lot of great music on it. And so this is who will be making the music for the game. And so that's a little taste of that. Let me get back to Mystery Box. But yeah, that's Mystery Box. So thank you guys for submitting Mystery Box and submitting your dev website. For our next video, we have Parsnip Theory. This is by Fancy Flanny. Fancy, who's been in chat for a long, long time, all week, and has been super helpful with helping out with IndiE3. So props to them, and let's check out Parsnip Theory, the 4-player gameplay video. That's Fancy Flanny's Parsnip Theory. And that was the 4-player gameplay video of it. So what I kind of liked about how that video specifically was showing off what the play was, it didn't show the minutia as much as it was showing the macro effect, the flow of the game on the far the sped up scale. And as you could see, there was a turn-based battle going on, almost something of like a snowball fight, where kids are just throwing parsnips at each other. That's what the kids are doing nowadays. They're throwing parsnips. And the the goal of the game was to end your turn in a way where you could hit your opponents with parsnips, but not be hit in return, and try to take them out while without them taking you out. So kind of like a game of kind of like checkers in a way, but with more projectiles. And so you can play the free alpha of that right now. And the website was, let me pull up that website for you. With the fun, we need more synths for that. But fancyflanny.itch.io, you can find that there. And you can go play the free alpha right now. But I'm excited to see where that goes because it just seems so light, so fun, and you can just get a couple people around and play, just toss some parsnips at each other, and kind of make a day of it. So thank you guys for submitting that. It's a very, very cool game. Our next game that we have on the docket is The Weavers, and so this is by the Guru Mediation Project. The Guru Meditation Project. It's called The Weavers and has a very, very short trailer that we can talk about. That's The Weavers. The Weavers, everyone. Holy crap, I was not expecting that much to be so condensed into 50 seconds. But a well done trailer, absolutely. Obviously, it's a point and click style adventure game that involves the inventory management, but has a lot of themes of Hinduism involved in it. The Weavers being relating to the webs that we weave in as the parlance goes. So there's a lot of really cool stuff going in there, and I am excited to see where that can go from here. I think there was a website that I can send you guys to. If you are interested in seeing more about that, you can go to gurumeditationproject.com, and that is where they have so much information about what they are creating with their video game and their experience, but just taking really cool cues from very contemporary point-and-click adventure games and the things that we can do with that medium to, I mean, one of the things that it does best is that it evokes based on image object, this idea that you not only create images that express as like a pictorial reference of an artifact, but that artifact is then objectified within the game, and so you can interact by picking it up and interacting it with other objects, and there's a lot of cool things that you can do within that mechanic, that system, especially when it comes to artifacts of Hinduism. You can kind of represent those ideas through the objects of the religion. And so I'm excited to see where The Weavers goes. It is on Greenlight, so please help support it if you can. Steam Greenlight is a great way to get your game out there, and it helps all of us. So thank you so much to Meditation Project, the Guru Meditation Project, for sending us The Weavers. The next game that we have, this is called Time King's Tower, and it's by Ember Fruit Studios. Wow. Time King's Tower. That was really impressive. Also, a very short trailer. Top-down battle arena. Like, as simple as that. Looks like there was a wide cast of characters, all with interesting puns for their names. Very short names too. I think it was that Ignat, like ignition, and then deck, and then that's just he just came up and decked the guy. But there was really cool stuff going on there. So a top-down arena battler, just straight up looked like something that was kind of a multiplayer thing. We've been seeing this a lot of different games this last week that were 2D from the side. They were just 2D side-scrolling platforming style arena battler games, but we haven't seen any that are top-down. And so to put basically a game like Towerfall within the game space spectrum of something like The Legend of Zelda original or The Legend of Zelda what are my game titles at? The original series, A Link to the Past, in that kind of angle, that kind of camera side, there's some really cool things that you could do with the play there. And so that's really, really exciting. Time King's Tower has me just all over the place. And I believe, if I can find more information, obviously timekingstower.com. Nice, easy website for you to check out. It is just, as far as I can see, just the trailer right now, which means that it is something that is in development. And yeah, that's all I can see for that. So timekingstower.com, and check out, I would believe Emberfruit Studios must have a Twitter of some sort that they keep updated. I would hope so. But I would check that out too, Emberfruit Studios, if you can. But thank you guys for submitting Time King's Tower to IndiE3. And I'm so glad that we get to show off a game like that. It seems so inspired and so kind of taking a lot of retro genres that are not mashed together yet, and then mashing them together in a very fun and exciting way. The next game that we have, completely different, is just titled... is this called Stormy? I think there might be a... Oh no, it is called Stormy. Let me pull that up for you. That was cool. That was Stormy. They are just pulling all of the post-structuralist game design punches. They're just doing all of it. They're like, we're going to have an object over here, and then it's going to be over here when you look back. They're like, we've got text prompts coming up on the screen, but they're just going to fall into the space and become like physically a part of it. It's like, oh, these are all of your 30 Flights of Lovin' and all of your jazz punk kinds of things that just look so cool. I wish I had any more information about Stormy on hand right now. I'm sure we do have the developer David Grensowski who is working on that. And big props to them because that trailer was amazing. But David Grensowski's Stormy is right there. Let me see. There's got to be a website or something, right? Oh, we do know the song in the video is by The Meters, and so that's really cool. A slowed down version of The Meters, which is like, ooh, nice little hack there. I see what you did there. But but hilarious. Just absolutely hilarious video that does a lot of work in a very small amount of time while also keeping just a nice flowy pace, just really relaxed. But so exciting. I feel like there's got to be like videos like that that could have a place in some kind of bigger expo or bigger show that would just be perfectly seated between all of the man shooting, and that's so cool. I don't want to take more away from it, but just go watch the video again. That's what I've got for you. So that's called Stormy though, and I cannot wait to see more about Stormy in the future. The next game that we have by Over the Moon is called The Fall.
Ensure that your domestic...
Oh, let's start at the beginning.
Hello, and thank you for your purchase. To ensure that your Domesticon product continues to operate efficiently, it will require regular maintenance. If it begins exhibiting any of the following dysfunctions, please return it to your nearest Domesticon depot for immediate recalibration. As always, Domesticon offers a complimentary zero-deviation guarantee to ensure that all of our products conform to protocol. Conform to protocol. Conform to protocol. Conform to protocol.
I am not a Domesticon product. You have no jurisdiction over me.
Whoa. That was The Fall. And it looks like if that May 30th, I'm assuming is this year, means that it just came out just a couple weeks ago, and that's on Steam. Go find The Fall on Steam. Basically, it's like they watched that old Apple ad where they throw the sledgehammer through the Intel processors. They're like, that needs to be a video game. And then they made that video game. That's so awesome. The subversion of technology. I will not conform to protocol. there's so much involved in that just seems so cool and so fresh and so flashy. And I want to see. I loved the. I loved where they were kind of taking the aspect. We have a lot of games coming out right now with that 2D perspective. And they're usually they're kind of been built in Unity engine, and I don't know the best. I guess they're like 2.5D is usually what they're called, but they don't really explore that. Anyway, it's the platforming shooters, kind of like not binary domain. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was called. You guys in chat can probably help me a lot more than I could even help myself. But this is a genre that is very contemporary, very in the now. The form, the style, the framing, the way that the camera is angled is all very, very contemporary and really in the now as far as things that we have easy access to as game developers to create expression with. And the ways that they do that, the ways that they create their specific expression within that medium, within that genre, is especially emphasized through lighting and through what it seems like a lot of the sound work, the sound and what the messages that are being reproduced and how they are being reproduced, the sound engineering and the writing involved that is being voiced over these things is really cool and had me so excited, and I cannot wait to see more of The Fall. And thank you so much, guys, for submitting that because it's so cool. It's so cool. The next game. This is actually a Game Jam game that was submitted to us. And so all I have is the game, but it's a very, very short game and a very, very strange game. And so I think it'll break up all this serious talk in a very specific way. If you would send it to me. Oh, no. It was working just a second ago. There we go. This is a game called Candy. And it's going to take just a second to load. It was faster to load earlier, and so I was going to be fine loading it, but it has music right away. Like that. This is Candy. This is a Game Jam game that was made in a very short amount of time to say something very, very specific. (2014) January 21st, the Candy Jam began. Oh, did you get clicked out? There we go. January 21st, 1793, King Louis XVI was executed. Very, very violent against the candies that are being jammed. Look at all the points we get. Oh, no. No, the big boss. And that's the boss. Yeah, it's a very, very short, very fast game with a lot of just straight up political illusion going on. Basically creating the link between January 21st in one year and January 21st in another year. Candy Jam itself existing as a product of rights and regulations by privatized companies, and Louis XVI execution being also a part of kind of, if I can be so bold to say, other political tyrannies and power being controlled and cutting off creative flow and critical thought. So kind of trying to create a draw between those two, and also using, I believe that's the picture of David Cameron, the Prime Minister of England? I really, chat would know better than I would. Please save me, chat, from my American ignorance. But what I really liked about what was going on here was actually the boss fight itself, because it's so complicated. Even though if I were to win this, I could just tap really fast at during the first thing and not see any of this rotation, the boss's rotation itself. But after you beat the boss, it is just the end of the game. So it's more fun to actually die in this boss fight than to beat it prematurely. But yes, a political satire bringing together a lot of themes in a very, very short amount of time. And I just thought you guys would get a kick out of that. So that was Metal Chuchin's Candy, and you can play that for yourself as well or share it with other people. Yeah, so let's go on to another game. This is News Monkeys. We have a trailer for the version 1.2 of News Monkeys. That is News Monkeys. So, straight up, game genre that we do not get enough and is not, I think, is underexplored. And that is the game of role-playing and dress-up. Dress-up games are huge in Flash communities, and a lot of these kinds of development styles and it is definitely underrepresented in a lot of scenes in the gaming side of things. We usually talk about how it's so cool to be able to customize your character, but not quite in the way where you can dress them up, unless it is inside of the frame of some kind of bigger epic saga, something like Saints Row, where you are expressing. It has a huge variety of ways you can express yourself in wacky and fun ways, but there's so much more exploration that can be done in that kind of scene, and so I'm really I think that's very cool that we're able to show off News Monkeys, which seems to be designed as a tablet and mobile game because you can access it on both of those super easily. And it is also something that can be fun for young kids, and something that can be fun for young people to express themselves in a safe environment and in a fun environment, in the form of playing an ace reporter and a monkey at the same time. So that's very cool, and I like how they seeded that, and that's very fun. So thank you, News Monkeys, for helping us with IndiE3. The next game that we have, completely different, entirely different, is called Cacto Loco. So this is the intro cutscene to Cacto Loco.
The story begins with two lovers who tread on witch doctor's land. The witch doctor cursed the man to loose his lover's hand. Her lover was now a cactus, she could do nothing but mourn. Cursed he was by the desert scorn, the lovers now were torn. But in years' time the curse wore thin, the cactus felt movement again. He went in search for his lost lover, but beware the witch doctor cometh.
That was Cacto Loco, and it is coming to PC by T-Nerb Games. And so I have a couple more screenshots as well while we talk about this. Thank you. And it seems to be, oh, you're playing as the cactus. So you've been turned into a cactus, and you are shooting needles around to progress through levels. So a lot of things going on in this game, and I would be kind of remiss to, during the day when we're talking about portrayals of indigenous people and race in multiple panels today, just don't use witch doctors, just ever. It's never going to work the way that you think it does. That's just a blanketed statement, but it is an overused trope that doesn't need to be used, especially as a main villain, because then that's going to be that in a lot of ways is usually your main person of color in your game, and it's like, come on, guys, come on, we can do better. I would be remiss to not say that, but outside of that, I don't want to condemn this game altogether, because Cacto Loco looks like it's doing a lot of really cool things, and it has a very cool scene that it's setting within this kind of desert area, a desert that actually looks very full of life and very fertile in a strange way. The scene that is setting is so colorful, even though it is in a desert. And I love what I'm seeing in this bottom screenshot especially, where you have this boss who looks very, very cool, doing a lot of big things. And so we're kind of getting into the style and aesthetics of something similar to like Vlambeer, and other kinds of like top-down shooters. But there's a lot of really cool things going on here. And you can also download the pre-alpha, which seems like probably the best way to get more information on just exactly what we're getting into with Cacto Loco. Narrative ploys and tropes aside, there are so many cool things happening in here, and I'm just so impressed by something like this tree. This tree that's in the middle of a desert arid lands. And that's cool to get that kind of representation. Also, I love the little border. The UI looks amazing. So that's very, very cool. And I want to thank the devs for bringing us that. There's so much to be offered here, and I think that that's really, really cool. So moving on, I think we are at 3 o'clock, so we're actually making really great time. Usually when we have more people here, we can kind of chill out and talk. So for now, let's take a break, and then we're going to do a little bit, just you and me. Let's talk a little bit about IndiE3. What we've been doing here, we've been here for now 5 days, and we have 2 days left. If you have not, you can subscribe to this channel, and it'll give you access to a whole bunch of emotes that have been made by our artist, the Chic Monster. And when you do, it costs money, and I think it is 25% off of $5. Thank you to the Hitbox people for that, because they wanted to make it accessible to you. But that money goes to the artist. That goes to the Chic Monster, so that does not go to us. And so that is a really, really cool thing. Sorry, that's a mistake. 50% of it goes to the Chic Monster, and then 50% of it goes to us. And so it is a way to help in a very small way kind of get us set back after the costs of feeding and electricity. This is really low cost. We're just stringing it together. We've got cardboard boxes taped together to pull this production along. But this is what we've made out of it. And so I'm very, very proud that we've been able to pull this together in the community itself.
Don't disrespect the cardboard boxes, please.
I'm not disrespecting the cardboard boxes. Thank you, James. But that is a really cool thing. So I just wanted to take a quick break from the trailers to advertise that and to give you guys something kind of fun and cool to play with. I hope I can't see the chat room right now, but hopefully someone can show off some of the. If you click on the subscribe button, it doesn't subscribe you, but you can actually see what the commands for the emotes are. And so if anyone doesn't know that, that's what the Hitbox people told me, because I didn't know that either. But that's where you can find the little heart emotes and other cool things. The Chic Monster, she tested a great job on all of those, and in very, very short notice. And so I wanted to be able to do that for her. And so thank you guys for letting me listen to me ramble. I want to show you a new game, though. I want to show you, this is Grabbables. And this is a big indie game, actually. And I'm trying to find out who it's by, but this is a IGN trailer. So it's not very helpful. IGN's not very helpful in giving me information on where to find more information. Hopefully the trailer itself can be more responsible. Okay, thank you, Noble Whale Studios. I think that's all of the trailer. Okay, 10 seconds of black. Cool. Noble Whale Studios, and I think that was grabblegame.com, if I wasn't mistaken reading that in there. But Grabble is basically taking what World of Goo is and making it super dynamic. Instead of trying to manipulate a whole bunch of little goo creatures, you are one goo creature, and you are going to be the best, and you are going to get through the levels the fastest, and you get to throw yourself around the world and cling to objects and embody this kind of like raw force of person stuff. You're like, you get to be a little goo ball, and I think that that's super adorable. but it's fun to be able to just kind of fling your own virtual body around places and kind of see how far you go. It's kind of like, in a weird way, the flow feels something like Spider-Man meets World of Goo. So you're manipulating yourself based on the world around you and trying to get yourself through a physical space in a majestic but also speedy way without being hurt by monsters. So thank you, Grabbles, for submitting to IndiE3 and helping us out. And it's very, very cool to be able to see all of these different games and all the ways that you can express yourself without a whole lot of resources. The next one we have is by Too Awesome Studio, and it is called Dimension Drive, and this is the open trailer beta. This is the open beta trailer, if I can read correctly. The open beta trailer, so this is a game that's in open beta right now. So that is Dimension Drive. You can try the open beta right now. I believe that is, they're keeping on that screen for a while. Make sure you see it. There was so much going on. You have, this has been a theme that has been coming up often in especially indie gaming scenes, but being divided between two worlds, and basically using that two worlds metaphor to create two different play spaces that are going on simultaneously. And so Dimension Drive is doing that by you are playing this two different 2D shooters at the same time and having to balance between the two. So your position within relation to each world is the same. And as your energy decreases on one side, you can switch to the other, and the energy will increase again and restore on the other. And so a very cool interpretation of the 2D shooter. Or the top-down bullet hell shooter, actually seems like it's a bullet hell shooter with a lot of leeway, which is sometimes a breath of fresh air. And so you can kind of survive the chaos by ducking out into another world, a safer world. But the cool thing with that is that you have two different spaces going on at the same time. So you could see that one had the background where you are fighting this land battle, and you are flying over the land, and then you have this other space that you are flying over space. And so both of those have some very different connotations at the same time that look really cool. And so that's awesome. Thank you guys at Too Awesome Studios for presenting Dimension Drive, and I hope that the open beta goes very, very well, because you can go and play that right now. If I can find the about information at www.dimensiondrive.com. The next game that we have is called Waker. And so this is the trailer for Waker, and you can find more at on the Twitter of Alex Higgins, which is Al C. Higgins. And this is Waker. everyone. That was Waker by Alex Higgins and The Sound of Music by Ashton Morris. Wow. Yeah, sorry, keep rolling that because there's some cool stuff. I'm going to pause it right there. sassyechidna.blogspot.com. Alex Higgins, holy crap, am I impressed with Waker? We were just talking about being in multiple worlds, but this is very literally that dream that you can kind of evoke with these RPG spaces, where they're using multiple different aesthetics to represent being in different worlds, and the themes that cross thresholds between those two worlds is really, really cool. And you are the Waker. You are just you kind of just random dude, and that's expressed in the black and white world, where everything is kind of this daily drudge, and then you are unleashed within the multicolored, the like 16-bit, the 32-bit landscapes of a much brighter and more exciting world where wacky things are happening, and you are actually meeting people that seem interesting, and they come help you. But even while all this magical stuff is happening, you have this huge theme of magical realism going on, that is reflecting on who you are as a person, as the Waker. And there's just this really cool theme of where you're still a normal guy. And so I don't know if one's supposed to be like a dream and the other's not, or if that is even a thing that matters within both of these spectrums. But within the two worlds, you're just a guy, and your option is to move about, talk to people, and when bad things happen, you just run. And so that was really cool. It's not like you're here to like fight or save the world. You're just here to kind of try to hold on to any reality that you can, and enjoy the ride. And it seems like such an enjoyable ride, and that is so apparent within the music, with the violin and the piano that is just plinking away, and the piano just seems like they're having a blast. That was really cool. I want to just listen a little bit more to that, maybe like 10 seconds. So you can hear the sweeping violin making this huge dramatic posturing, while the piano is just keeping up this fast-paced rhythm. Just way cool. Way cool. And that has me so excited. Again, sassyechidna.blogspot.com, and you can reach the developer on Twitter, Al C. Higgins, and that's their Twitter. So impressed with that. So I have another game here that I'm very, very excited to show you guys. And it is a game that I actually have a little bit of pre-knowledge about. Oh my gosh, I actually have some kind of knowledge about games. A huge shock to all of us in the room. This is called Super Rude Bear Resurrection, and this is was part of a Ludum Dare game about only living once, if I'm recalling correctly. And Vorpal Games has made this very impressive game into they gave a sequel to it, and so you're going to be really excited to see what this sequel has in store. So that's Super Rude Bear Resurrection. And I think that the trailer is very clear about what is going on necessarily, but for those that weren't quite sure what was happening, this is a massive multiplayer online game where you are running through a dungeon with everyone else who is currently running through that dungeon, and that is represented by all of their bodies, their past lives are they stay on the map. They stay there for as long as that level still exists. And so the goal of the game is to get to the end and beat the final boss of this big platformer in one single life, with the help of all of the combined efforts of everyone's previous lives. And as far as Super Rude Bear went, I can't speak for Resurrection, but I at one point was able to be the person to win the game, and that was really fun for me. But you fight the boss at the end, and then you become the boss, and then the entire thing resets. And so you can keep running through the same dungeon in a goal to be the first person to beat the final boss in a single life before anyone else does. And so it's a really, really cool game that works so well and is just kind of taking these normal tropes of pushing buttons and surviving lasers and fire and buzzsaws that we come to love so much, that become so cherished and very violent, and make it into kind of this like metaphysical journey where you are being aided by what the trailer called your friends, and those friends are not alive, they're dead, but they're also you at the same time. And so you are helped and proceeded by your past mistakes. And so it's really cool. And it's a really fun concept that they've explored fully as a product of level design. And the level design within the game is so strong. I highly recommend playing Super Rude Bear. I believe that the Resurrection version is currently in alpha. I don't know if that means that it's if that's going on, but you can read more at vorpal-games.com. For sure, you can still play Super Rude Bear, and that game is awesome, and I highly recommend it. So kudos and thanks to them for bringing this up and for representing Ludum Dare and game jams. These are things that you can make yourself with inspiration from game jams themes. The theme of that one was You Only Live Once, I think. And so that was the idea, is that you have to beat the game in one life. And it did, I believe it actually placed very well because that game jam is a competition. So it's very cool. I have a couple more games before the end of today's trailer showcase, at which point we will go on to an interview with the creator of Concursion. And I'm very, very excited to talk about that because that was a huge hit yesterday. Or was it the day before? I don't remember. If you don't remember what Concursion was, that was the game where you are playing about 5 different styles of old school two-dimensional games in the space of one. And so you'll fly into a specific space and your body will change, and now you are in a 2D shooter instead of a platforming game, depending on the worlds that you're in. So a lot of cool stuff happening. And I'm excited to show you guys that. For now, we have 3 more trailers to show. I believe they're all trailers to show about 3 more games, and I'm kind of excited to see what inspires us with these last 3. This one is called Avalon Lords. was Avalon Lords. For all those people who want to look at super pretty groups, super pretty armor and people on horses, very, very stylized indie game that looks very, very cool.
I can, in the chat, Kitsunami, who's been volunteering as one of our moderators and also is in charge of the footage for this game, has said that this footage has never been shown before. This is an IndiE3 exclusive.
I saw the press preview and I was excited because that meant we're all press now. So nobody's ever seen that before, not in any kind of like public sense. And that's Kitsume. That's your game. That's awesome. Kitsume has been amazing all week, and it's so glad to have you. And I'm glad I can finally show your game. It's really cool, and I think one of the things that I think about, and maybe it's just because of the juxtaposition of the last game that we played in this one, but indie as a idea, as a spirit, involves so many different groups of people and levels of groups of people, and it's always argued about what is indie and what isn't indie. And indie itself is not necessarily like any kind of formalist grouping or structure. It's just a spirit and an identity. And every single game expresses those in different ways depending on the resources they have at hand. And it's all an attribution to what resources any one group or person has at their disposal and what they do with it. So Avalon Lords, to speak specifically about Avalon Lords, has this huge feudal space that's being explored, and you're seeing many, many armed troops going along the parapets and going in to fight wars. And I'm hoping if Kitsune could Kitsunami, excuse me. If Kitsunami could talk more about Avalon Lords in chat, it would be great. I love the press preview, but I have no idea what angle that we're playing from. Are we playing as the armies, or are we playing as super fancy-looking armor dude? Or both. Maybe there is no difference within that. But that would hugely impact the framing of the game. And so I'm excited to see, are we riding on horsebacks, or are we in charge of the armies as a whole? Or anything in between. But that's so cool! Avalon Lords, everyone! I'm really glad that we get to show so many different kinds of games at IndiE3 and reveal so many cool things within the process. So many devs have been like, you know what, this has never been seen before, here you go. And we get to kind of show everyone, and everyone gets to be a part of that. And so that's amazing. We've never seen that before. I want to go back into the video. Can you hit me up with this? This shot, I actually picked the exact right frame that I was looking for, which I'm very thankful about. But there's so much within this trailer of some great like cinematography going on that is intentionally designed and important to show all these great men with bushy beards and this like emotional lens flares, is super dramatized of this the kind of medieval style that they're going for, and they're emulating this big blockbuster style with just the tools of indie development. And it's like, guys, we can do this. This is like, we can do this. And it just is so inspiring. You don't need teams of hundreds of people to make something look really good on a blockbuster kind of scale, a blockbuster aesthetic. There are also many other aesthetics we can explore, of course, and ways that those can be reproduced with small teams. But the blockbuster aesthetic itself, which is often sought after, can be reproduced with our current tools, if you have the right people and the right resources, and with very little resources. So huge props to the Avalon Lords team. Can we get the name of the group in chat too? I think it's Animus Interactive. Animus Interactive.
Yes,
thank you.
Animus Interactive with Avalon Lords.
So we have two more. Let me get that up. And this is called Prism Shell by Brooklyn Gamery. has my hair. And more importantly, she has a kick-ass ship. That was Prism Shell by Brooklyn Gamery. There was so much cool stuff going on in there. As you can see, you're managing your resources. You have the looked like it was health and a special ability bar and some kind of like stamina, I believe. Probably something else, but seated as like something you slowly run out of until you grab a recharge of it. So you're managing and manipulating all of these different resources while trying to upgrade your ship, while the oncoming enemies start to try to swarm you. But the cool thing about it is that you are stuck to this kind of grid, and you zap between all of these different points on the grid. And I believe, if I was looking at that right, that kind of looked like some kind of attack. Like you could use that to kill things. And so, cannot confirm on that, but really, really cool with the kinds of things that they were doing there. And an interesting take on the top-down shooter. Most importantly, it's about moving yourself quickly between spots while also taking out all your enemies. So like as you are slowly getting surrounded, you can find a way to zip out of there really quickly and maybe instead flank your enemies from the side with just a couple quick flicks. And so as far as like reflex shooting goes, it seems like there's so much fun to be had there, and just really engaging arcade-style shooter. So you can find more information by looking up Prism Shell. Prism Shell, I believe, has a site. I cannot find any information on it, but it is going to be coming in 2014 to mobile devices. And so that's another mobile game, and we can show more of these really cool mobile games that are coming out in the indie scene. So that even makes it even more, knowing that it's a mobile game. I didn't even think it was. Didn't look like one. Whatever that means, but I guess there was no prompts on my end to show that it was not keyboard and mouse controlled, is what I really mean by that. But because if it's mobile game, that means that you are actually swiping with all of these instant flick motions. So I'm really excited to see where they're going with that and how that gets developed. But just super right on the level with a lot of other things that we have come to know and love with games. Shooting and aliens and being awesome is the kind of key there. You get to be awesome by being this rad superpowered chick just dashing through all of these cool places. So lots of love to them. Thank you, Brooklyn Gamery, and guys representing Brooklyn and the Brooklyn scene. That's really cool. I believe... Oh, this is where we're ending. Cool. This is the first game that's on the list. If you guys have been looking at the public list, is this the first game? No, this is in the middle. Let me scroll up to the top. There we go. There we go. This is the development site for Clown's Secret. And Clown's Secret doesn't have any trailers or anything yet. We have this very cool development blog that has a lot of details and a lot of imagery that we can quickly look through while we are listening to the main theme. I don't think I can find any volume controls on my side, so I'm going to rudely talk over the theme song, but it's so cool. The main idea...
I got your back.
Oh, look at that. James has always got my back. But Clown's Secret is a black and white 2D adventure game based on remarkable films of the Silent Age. This is a time and era that games do not like to go to because they don't want to admit that they always just wanted to be like Hollywood. But the silent era of games is so influential to how we know the development of media and media forms in the modern 21st century era. And games have always followed that kind of model in a lot of ways. There's so many parallels. between the pixel age and the silent age. And so there's so much going on here that I really, really love, where they're taking and drawing inspiration from. This is Hal Roach and Harold Lloyd, who have inspired the names of the main characters. There's where their designs are inspired from. But you can see we've got this point-and-click adventure game that is completely done without any dialogue that is audible. Instead, dialogue seems to be transposed through images. And specifically, this combination of images strikes me because instead of it like showing up as words like you'd see in a silent film, you have pictorial representations of what is being said, and apparently a little bit of arithmetic. So that is what is deriving all of the language of Clown's Secret. And the rest of the blog actually has some really great writing and ideas going on that's really, really cool, and I highly recommend it. And also insights onto the development of it. And so we have like examples of Hal and Halbert, the main two characters, speaking.
Oh, Halbert. Halbert sort of damn also.
Hal, boda ba, DDP, darati, halvati palpal boda.
So obviously there is definitely speaking roles being played within the game. I believe they might be seeded through this idea, the radio. So lots of cool things, cool ideas that are inspired by the setting of the 1920s in Clown's Secret. And so you can find more information about Clown's Secret at EXPR Studios. Experience exprstudios.tumblr.com. And you can also listen to the full extent of the First City theme. Amongst many, many other things, there's pages of stuff on this dev blog that is very fun to read and very exciting to see a glimpse into what the developers of Clown's Secret are working on and thinking about while they develop. So there are, I think that's all of the games that we had in the trailer showcased for this section. We are at 3:43, which is perfect timing to give us a 15-minute break while we set up for our second interview of the day. We actually have two today, and I'm very excited to be a part of that. We're going to talk about concursion, which I've talked about previously, and we're going to spend the next hour talking about basically inspiration and styles of games and genre, and how we managed to compress all of that together in such a concise space and so elegantly. So I'm very excited to bring that to you guys. I will see you guys in 15 minutes. Thank you for being here.
Yep, we will be back in 15 minutes for the interview with Denny Garfield on concursion. And after that, I believe we'll be taking a break for an hour to do those silly things like eat. And then we'll be back at 6. I believe that we are moving the Indie Game Riot podcast onto Channel 3 here where we all are. And then after that, we will have another short break and then a musical performance of... Oh, let's see. Solon knows about this.
Oh, we will be performing Samantha Coleman's Centris.
There we go. We'll have Centris for you then. And that will take us through the end of the evening. Thank you, everybody. We're going to take a short break.